What is up, guys? Blackscape here, and today I have some news that went under the radar. It was during Toyotaro's press run through all these conventions, and a line that he said that may point to exactly where we may be going, at least in some sort or form or direction when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super manga, which isn't expected to come back this year, but this could be foreshadowing exactly what they're going to be focusing on in this manga, and I don't see many people talking about it, so I wanted to go ahead and address it, make a video about it. I got all the details here, I got all the news, you know I got you guys, and if you love Dragon Ball, make sure hit that like button. If you want a Dragon Ball, you'll hit that like button. Let's go ahead and jump in. Well, it looks like Toyotaro has some regrets, and the regret is over the latest Dragon Ball Super manga chapters, and more specifically, the prequel arc for Superhero. He has one major regret for that arc, and honestly, I agree, and I think that it was short-sighted the way that they formulated that arc. Honestly, I think, to me personally, a waste of complete time, and I'll let you know here in a second why I believe it was a complete waste of time for that arc, because even though we got some backstory on Dr. Hito, Mai, Trunks and Goten, the high school life, all that stuff, it didn't do anything for the grander Dragon Ball world. Black Frieza, Jiren, Broly, Goku, Zeno, Whis, Beerus. It was almost like a little spin-off. Like the last couple chapters felt like a spin-off around the superhero storyline. It was like contractually having to be made. There was no heart in it. So this prequel art was probably Toyotaro's way of injecting something in it, but he has some regret over it, and I agree with this regret. Now, if you know what it is, let me know in the comments, but this is exactly what his words are. So during the press release and conferences that Toyotaro had a few weeks ago, and I think he's still going on with some of them, a interviewer was able to ask him two questions, as well as Nakatsuru. And one of the questions was about Goten and his depiction in the superhero prequel arc. And Toyotaro's response, honestly, was a little bit surprising for me because how heavily the prequel arc focused on Trunks specifically. So to hear Toyotaro be kind of like on the fence about the direction they had for that arc is genuinely surprising. Toyotaro says he didn't depict Goten well during the DBS superhero prelude and would like to do more with him in the future. That is what he was saying to this interviewer. He didn't feel like Goten was represented well, and rightfully so. I mean, in the prelude arc and in the actual anime. In the anime, Trunks and Goten just arrive and then fuse together. That's basically all you get. In the manga, you get more, especially during the superhero manga portion of it, but the prelude is really where you get the meat of Goten and Trunks. But the problem is that whole entire prelude is focused specifically on Trunks, which is weird to me because we've had two huge arcs with Trunks, the Android arc and the Black Goku arc. We've had nothing with Goten whatsoever, and the story of Dragon Ball is about the Sun family. It's about Goku, Gohan, Chi-Chi, and Goten. Goku has had plenty of time to develop as a character and given storylines throughout all of Dragon Ball. Gohan as well. Gohan has huge amounts of weight in the story, and he's always brought back out of retirement after he hangs up the jersey, or he tries to go and focus on his bugs. He's brought right back in, and the superhero arc was basically his and Piccolo's story. So we've gotten a lot of different stories about these characters, but nothing about Goten. And in the prelude arc, we get next to nothing besides the fact that he's got friends, and basically they look like the cast from Spider-Verse. That's basically all we get. We don't get anything other than that. We get Goten being the wingman in crime fighting and also in dating and life and everything to Trunks. He is Trunks' shadow in there. He's there to make Trunks stronger, and that's exactly what ends up happening. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion that Toyotaro knew this from the jump and realized that why am I making an entire focus story about Trunks and Mai when realistically the story is about the Sun family. So that's why we got this additional bonus prelude where we see here that Goten is actually the one that's more interested in being a superhero. He likes Clean God more. He gets more characterization and more focus in this little tiny miniature ending to the prelude that we got, where it shows us just kind of like where they got the inspiration to become superheroes. We get more from that than we did throughout the entire original prelude, and we get knowing exactly what motivates him. It'd be that he likes superheroes, just a regular guy essentially. And this would be great for a story. It's great building blocks for a story, because now you're seeing that Goten is the one that actually wants to genuinely be a superhero and save people, while Trunks thinks it's cheesy and doesn't want to do it, and the only reason he did do it was for the girls. That's literally it. So honestly, going forward with Toyotaro saying that he wants to focus more on Goten, I believe that this is the direction that they're probably going to go at some level in the next arc, and at least he's working on it, I think, right now, because if he wants to do more with Goten, I personally would put Goten front and center in his own story, and honestly, I would definitely focus more on the superhero aspect of him and actually him being a hero, and drop Trunks off of that. They don't need to be attached anymore. I've said this since I was a kid. Gotenks was cool when he first was introduced against Boo, but since then, Goten and Trunks can't do anything separately. They're always conjoined together to make Gotenks. Even in the superhero, that was the exact same thing. Even the prelude, they became heroes, but they're like the two sides of one coin. This needs to stop. In the next arc, Goten needs to go out on his own, be his own hero. I would hope that Trunks just drops it because he wasn't into it to begin with, and then that way that superhero story can be focused primarily on Goten, and I would give him a badass suit, I would give him a badass name, I would give him a lot of aura, I would have him train, I would give him God. I would give Trunks God, really. I would give both of them God. I feel like the fact that Trunks, Goten, Pan, Gohan, like they don't have God, and you can just kind of do it with having all the Saiyans that you have there. You can kind of just give it to them, and they haven't done that yet. Is a crime. They should have already put that in the story. We shouldn't have to wait to put those aspects into the story. So that's what I would do with Goten. I would focus primarily on that direction and see exactly where it takes us. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. I don't know if you guys like Goten as much as I do, but Goten honestly is one of my favorite characters because he's basically just Goku, a more, I would say, sheltered version of Goku. And I think that he definitely deserves his own story in the great year of 2020, I guess 6. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.